sort of concept, I suppose, that we're really excited about is metacognition. Another one of those things that's relatively high up in the toolkit, but also generally a really strong area of research across different subjects and different age groups. We think of metacognition as essentially meaning pupils' ability to think about their own thinking or think about their own learning. It's whether they're able to, say they're tackling a maths problem, whether they're able to plan their approach to that maths problem, think about whether they've seen similar problems in the past, what knowledge that they have might be useful here, when they're going about that approach that they've chosen, monitoring it, constantly kind of checking their understanding, thinking about whether it's going well, thinking about whether they need to try something different, and then once they've arrived at an answer, evaluating the approach that they've taken, thinking about whether they have really got the right answer, whether they need to try something different. So really important skills to try and bring about in pupils, in maths, but also across subjects. And we're working now on a guidance report purely on metacognition. So something that can be used across different subjects, but will also, for you as maths teachers, help you to go even further into this evidence. So the evidence on metacognition is, we've done a fairly light touch presentation in the recommendation you have in the guidance report. There'll be a lot more coming. A few key steers on this from the evidence. These are important but quite challenging skills to develop. We often see them take quite a long time to develop and require really sort of careful scaffolding. Sometimes teachers can do this successfully by explicitly modelling metacognition themselves as they're working through problems. So they're working through a problem on the board and they can be verbalising their metacognitive thinking, saying, right, at the moment I'm thinking back to that lesson we did last week and we looked at a similar problem to this. Maybe some of the things we tried there might be useful. But also getting pupils themselves to try and explain their mathematical thinking to themselves. We call it self-explanation, explaining their mathematical thinking and their metacognitive thinking to themselves and to others, getting them to talk about the decisions that they made when they tackled particular problems. Why did they pick that particular approach? Why did they think it worked? How did they check that it got them to where they needed to be? So, exciting area of research. We're really keen to explore this more through our trials and, as I say, through a guidance report that will be coming out. I think a colleague leading on that one says it will be out for the summer, so look out for that. We also, in this recommendation, touch on motivation. Of course, motivation is important. It's obviously important to learn mathematics, but unfortunately it's an area where we lack evidence. There's not huge amounts of evidence. It's very likely that growth mindsets it's not likely to cause harm. It's probably quite a nice idea. Something you should think about, certainly. But also generally, I suppose, modelling good attitudes across the whole school. How do all of the staff in the school talk about maths? Is maths seen as something that we should aspire to knowledge of? Or is it okay to say I'm not very good at maths? It's actually motivation. So I mentioned that, I think I mentioned at the beginning that I still spend some of my time working on generating new evidence, so on setting up and monitoring our research projects. And I'm really keen to hear from people who have ideas around approaches to improving and supporting motivation in maths. So if you've heard of maybe it's someone in your mat or in your own school or wherever it may be who's doing something really interesting around motivation, my email's on the front of the slides. Please do get in touch with me if you have ideas of things to test.